Okay here, and we're providing some live commentary from the Crazyhouse World Championship 2020, which has just kicked off. Um, we've so we're watching at the moment Marlon against G.D. Howard, and he is trailing 1 game to 4. So the each match is 10 games of 3+2. We're at the moment in the single elimination stage to eliminate the number of contestants down to 128 from 142. So let's see. Marlonc has a tough task ahead after giving up such a huge lead. Black looks fine out of the opening. People are saying he's giving a lot of bishops and pawns to white. GD has had to do nothing more or less, it's just happening. I'll reach out to Marlon later and see if he wants to go over the games. I think JH Count is saying, can show him what to do or should do. Giving the diagonal is fine, giving that pawn isn't. So what actually happened in the opening? So this is game 6. So he does. So at the moment this seems fine. Ooh, yes, this is a mistake. Just losing a pawn. And then with these moves with the queen, he's allowing white to put on the pieces he has with a lot of tempo. So he's really got a tough check, a nice find. So he gets to trade of queens. So he's got quite a lot of pieces in hand. So queen takes queen, knight takes queen, but is there anything after this trade with a pawn, 2 knights, and a queen? I think it was worth going for, but it's just difficult to see. See, what does that actually threaten? It doesn't threaten anything directly. It's quite difficult actually, because the square you need to somehow get in on is this, but the knight is covering the h4 square, so it's quite difficult to see how to get in. Yeah, the h4, because he wants to get on g3, but he can't unless he has unless he has this square covered. This just takes, pawn takes, and now what? Knight takes, and now this is dangerous because knight here takes, queen here is mate, and if you don't take, you get smothered. Queen at g8. So that's the so Marlon is covering this, but okay, this is now all over. If queen takes bishop, you'll fall into this as well as just this picking up the queen, but this is even faster. Oh no, actually, I'm wrong. The queen is actually guarding f7. So you could do this. Okay, so now can G.D. Howard find a mate with these pieces? Yeah, I think he's actually okay. Just needs to play solid moves. This could just take it, I guess, but the problem is a pawn at g7 is coming. That is the problem. And meanwhile, black, okay, he's got a lot of, even bishop takes knight, king takes, you only have knights, you've got no diagonals to come, so the king could just go back to h2 and it's very safe. So that's the problem. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly double check that the stream is working nicely. I'm not getting desktop audio, weirdly. But okay, so we're into game 7 now, and G.D. Howard. So hi there, Katask. Greetings. Can you hear the sounds of the pieces, by the way? That's what I'm just wondering, because yeah, I don't think you can. So it means if anyone does join me in voice, you won't be able to hear them. It somehow sometimes happens. But okay, I'll just read the chat. Okay, very nice solid opening from Marlon here with just looking back to from the beginning again. E4, D4. Nice setup. I like this especially, knight coming to d2, so it doesn't get hit by the pawn going to b4. Okay, there are no peace sounds. That's just a little bit annoying, but okay. I'll start the stream again after this for the next match to make sure it's all sorted. Oh, interesting. Oh, very interesting. I would have thought pawn takes bishop was fine. Pawn takes knight was fine, and then after bishop takes bishop, knight takes. And you have a lot of pieces, you know, looking at the key f6 square. But instead, this is also interesting. So what's he actually done? He's lost a queen for a piece by doing this, but maybe got a bit of initiative, potentially. And he's whispering in the chat, all or nothing. So if you, useful feature, you can type \W as a player, and it enables you to whisper in the chat. Okay, knight h5. This is just going straight for f6 and g7. Like sack on it on g7 and go at f6. Yeah, the problem is he hasn't quite got enough. Like those, he can clear it out, and he's still in control. That's the slight problem with this. Hasn't quite got the control. Here, just pawn at g7, and he's lost control. Katas says / not \/ Yes, you're right. /. Yeah, this is difficult. I mean, could go. Okay, so he's going for h7. Which makes sense. Although it's easily blocked though. Yeah, just pawn at g6, pawn at f5. So I was thinking maybe bishop at g5 was get to work on the dark squares a bit, and then the knights are not helping the campaign. So Marlon plays a very aggressive style, and he's a great attacking player if you let him attack you. But G.D. Howard has been quite good at just sort of strangling his attacks. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. White seems to be doing well with his massive material edge. A little bit of an irony there. Yeah, I mean it's going in when you don't quite have the right. I mean, probably someone else can make. What is the actual? So everything here is fine. It's just going in a bit too hard. I mean, pawn takes knight was completely fine because f6 is really weak in this position. To be honest, pawn takes knight here, and f6 is bishop takes bishop, knight takes, and f6 is falling. I mean, f6 is a huge amount of pressure coming in on f6. But so there was no need to go desperate, you know, to be desperate about it and lose the queen here. Then here, this is good, but now this is the sort of position where you want to deflect this bishop. For example, bishop at e3, for example. Rather than going directly in, you just need to just be a bit more patient. Okay, so now here, knight takes pawn I like. See, this is excellent. So taking this bishop, I think, is a mistake, even. This is great because he's very patient. He didn't go for the bishop immediately, and this is what he needs, just a little bit more patience. Because now, knight takes bishop is an incredibly strong move because it threatens bishop there, mate. So you're winning a queen, no less than a queen. And you don't need to worry about knight d2 check, king h1 takes g2. So you're winning this. This is amazing, yeah. Katas says this might be a draw. Not quite sure how. So it just takes the queen, and the only attacking move, if it works, is queen h1. And you have to check if this does anything. Takes, takes, king takes, and it doesn't, because both the knight checks are blocked. So you'd have to go for like a pawn check here. King takes, and still any knight check is blocked, so you have to go for another pawn check. So, okay, so this is actually dangerous now, because this knight is supporting another knight. So it's looking a little precarious. So hang on, let me check. King takes pawn. If new knight here, we can just... No, we can't, because of knight takes knight. So we have to take... Yeah, so we can't do that. So you have to go... Whoa, 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 whoa. That's actually okay. So if knight here, king takes pawn. Yeah, there's no knight checks because the knight checks are both covered. So yeah, even king g1 seems to work. But if takes, what's the plan? Bishop takes, and that covers everything. Then there's no checks at all. So this is this is game over. Yeah, Katas says bishop takes. Yeah, bishop takes, and all the checks are covered. He doesn't have two knights. You can't give a knight there, knight there. Bishop takes, very important move. Just covering all the checks. If he finds that, this is game over. He didn't think he could have taken because of knight at g4 check, takes. So I didn't see anything after king takes. So king takes here. I was just still uncertain, basically. Yeah, I think he's right, actually. So if here, bishop here, yeah, so you'd have to go knight, and then black has another knight, but then king here, and take the knight and come back. Yeah, I think he was still fine, even in the other line. Crazyhouse says there's a nice mate now. What? How can there be a mate? This is all over for black. Yep, and black resigns. I think. Yes, black resigned. There's just no way to stop the mate. The only way is actually just dumping a piece on h8, just takes, and repeat. We could look in analysis later, see if king takes g2 gets mated. Maybe let's just quickly do that. So in this position here, can you afford to take on g2? And I claimed you could. And indeed, yes, this is still winning for white. So knight at h4, it is important to take that knight, yeah. Because if you leave the knight here, bishop here is mating you. If you step back, knight takes knight, or pawn here is mating you. But you just take it and run up. And it's important to run up. Running down does not work. And this is the line which I was saying. Just do this, and black has nothing. So that was also working. This is also a very, very efficient way of making sure you're completely safe. Really nice. Black's only defense would be something like this. And then apparently the fastest mate is going like this, which I hadn't seen. But okay, back to the current game. Live action. Do we have anyone in the voice chat with me? No one just yet. Hi there, Kobusa. Clean mate if you set queen. Yes, exactly. Exactly right. Just queen at f8, exactly. So G.D.Howard does play this b3 line, and it's basically putting a lot of pressure on e5. The downward side of this fianchetto means you don't have at h6 like you normally do if the bishop was supporting h6. But you get a lot of pressure in the center from this bishop. And that's why this setup against that bishop, that's a very good theoretical setup against the bishop on b2. And Crazyhouse says, please don't give up the e5 pawn. I can't bear to see another game where it is given away for free. Yep, this is very well played so far from black. And oh, I seem to not be at the live. The game has continued. Okay, yeah, well, this is still very good. This unnecessary because the bishop wants to stare down at the king side. So this I feel is a wasted move. But maybe he wants to discourage this for whatever reason. Oh, so yeah, I think the bishop belongs here. Bishop was perfect where it was. Okay, pushes this one, and yeah, this is a not one pawn but two. Like why? Just gives away one pawn, gives away a second pawn, and suddenly you have 2 pawns less than your opponent, and he has 2 pawns more than you. So it's like giving away 4 pawns in the process. It's really. And so why does he do it? I think he does it because it's simply I don't know what else to do here. And it just needs a bit more patience. I think we've been saying this a lot in the very short time we've been streaming. Just needs a little bit more patience. So this doesn't work. So what else could we do? The pawn is actually perfect here, blocking this bishop diagonal. White was planning this. There's no need to do anything. Even this move. just improve your pieces. So bishop, this is what you should do. Bishop e6, queen d7, rook e8. Just very simple moves, just to slowly improve your position. There's no need to make something happen, because now suddenly you don't have anything. White's got a strong center. This pawn, that's tempting. Takes, takes, takes. Well, let's see. Are we at the live? We're at the live action now. And Kata says White should have tried knight f5. Yes, that would have been very nasty. Knight f5 at some point here. Takes, takes. Say around here, knight f5. Hit these dark squares fast. He has loads of diagonals to follow it up. That's a very. It's threatening at e7 and at h6. Just lethal, completely lethal. Game over. But okay, this happened, and we in this sort of position. Oh, why not take the queen? Maybe he was worried about the direct attack back, but. You're now, you've got two queens now hunting you, so this is not pleasant, and you have a threat of at e7 as well. So yeah, Finch is asking if I'm here. Yes, I'm here. I'm streaming, so it's hard to type and comment here as well. So yes. It's just he's got a. So what's the idea? He wants queen takes rook, knight t7, and this is trouble. So takes, takes, block, knight d7, put another rook here, and it's, well, no, it's not exactly that because the knight covers, but this is just okay, and time trouble as well. So this is real trouble. He's down all the pieces. Yep, and he resigns. Oh, what was the problem here? If you take, so it's not actually a direct mate because knight d7. King h8. So if king f8, then there's knight g6 takes, block him off, and then seal off the king and then mate him. But if you go to h8, you survive a little bit longer because the knight is protecting this square. And maybe the thing to do is queen takes knight, and the knight can't take back because of this, so you have to defend maybe with a rook. It's nothing completely forcing, but just something like queen takes pawn, and the threat is queen takes rook and knight at f7. So what do you do there? You don't really have pieces to defend. So knight g5 just to defend f7. Maybe queen takes anyway, and then knight at g6 forces takes, knight takes g6, king here, and knight f8. So the idea of knight f8 is if king h6, rook at h5 is mate, so this is forced. Rook at h7, knight takes h7, and this smothered mate. So it's quite hard to find a completely forcing mate, but white doesn't need to. White has all the pieces in hand. So Marlon says 1 game in 4. 2 out of 8. Yeah, and it all comes down to black is playing completely nicely here. Very nice position. This is unnecessary, doesn't help. This again is putting the bishop on the wrong diagonal, doesn't help. And it's just not knowing. So imagine if instead of these moves, black had improved his position. So bishop here, and suppose white just did the same moves he was doing before. Queen here, rook c1. Rook a to e8. Those are the moves I was suggesting instead. And then he does c4. It's still like black. It's not as if black has suddenly, got an advantage. I mean, what were the engine suggestion here? I mean, it's not even, these aren't even engine moves, but yeah, actually they are engine moves. They're close to being the best moves. And okay, what do you do here though? I mean, suppose you just did something simple like king h8. Yeah, maybe that's not so strong. I was thinking just try and get knight b8 and f5 in, as was my thinking. But yes, it's not so clear. I suppose king h8. Let's just do it. Okay. And he does this, and suppose we just do this. Yeah, so this isn't so strong because you're letting him. You're giving white a bit too much space by backing off in this way. So how should you play this at this point? Maybe bishop g4. Bishop g4, knight e4, takes, and knight at c5, putting pressure on here. So this is under attack, so it would make sense to defend it in some way. So say knight at g3 is just a solid way of defending it. It is difficult, like how, yeah, it's just not clear, like how to, is there a better way of playing this? f5, yeah, f5 is interesting, definitely. Maybe it's not strong. Okay, so it is difficult here. So white is playing moves where black has to try and think of useful things to do, and it's not so clear how to improve white's position. The problem with f5 is it weakens the light squares a bit too much. Yeah, so it's not entirely clear. Okay, I'm going to call an end to this stream, and we're going to watch the next match in a minute. So back in 1 minute.